Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Uniquely You Life Coaching with me, Kelly. If this is your first time watching, I wanted to introduce myself and say I'm a life coach, a weight loss coach, a life transformation coach, and I'm glad that you're here. I help women go from yo-yo diets, doing all of the uh, typical traditional diets, counting calories, counting points, counting macros. I had weight loss surgery in 2010. I lost over 90 pounds and I gained 60 of that back. And I found a way to eat. I lost the 60 pounds and have maintained a 100-pound weight loss for going on 5 years. And so I'm on a mission, and it's my passion to bring the same transformation and freedom to the women that I work with. So that is why I am on this channel. If you go and watch my videos from the past, this channel was started in, I think it was in March, maybe, of 2010, might have been April of 2010. And it was when I started my weight loss journey I had weight loss surgery. And you can just kind of see some of the ups and downs and some of the things that I didn't do and incorporate and keep in my life. But about 5 years ago, I learned a new way of eating, a new way of living, and have been able to not count any calories or do the yo-yo dieting thing. So that is why I'm here to share this with you. And one of the things that I talk about a lot in my journey and the way that I have been able to keep this off is hunger and fullness. And that is one of the components of my coaching practice. But I have found that sometimes that the ladies turn the hunger fullness into a diet. So tonight, or I'm recording this at night, but today I'm going to talk about, in this video, I'm going to talk about and ask you the question, is what you're on a hunger and fullness diet? Because the ladies I work with, like I said, I talk about hunger and fullness quite a bit and eating within those boundaries. But I don't want the hunger and fullness to just be another diet. I mean, we can make anything into a law. We can make anything, be legalistic. And that black and white, all or nothing thinking, it's a big part of the diet mentality. As you probably very well know, you're either on the diet or you're off the diet. You're either on plan or you're off plan. And that's one thing that I don't want to happen when you begin to eat within your God-given boundaries of hunger and fullness on your journey to food freedom. And you might ask, like, what is this hunger fullness thing anyway? Well, if you're not familiar with it, when I talk about eating this way, it is getting back to the way that you were naturally born to eat, the boundaries that God instilled from birth. And I highly doubt that your mom was counting calories and points or macros as she was giving your baby formula or as she fed you baby food. And even though I did actually go and look because I wanted to know, does baby food have nutrition labels on them? And they do, but I have not seen any women as I go through the store over there scanning the back of the baby food labels to see how many calories are in a baby food label. I mean, you may have, but I have not seen that. And just listening to my niece talk to other people that I know have recently had babies, I haven't heard them say, well, my baby's getting this many calories. How many calories is your baby eating? I don't hear that. And like when we go, if you're dieting, you go and you scan the label. You look for how many calories, how many fat grams, how many proteins, whatever is in that food label. And you're, just with a magnifying glass going over those. But you don't do that. As babies, we weren't inundated with all of these outside noises like social media and the diet industry telling us when to eat and how much to eat and, all these like what to eat. I mean, we just didn't have that as a baby. And when you had your children, if you've had children, then you probably didn't do that either, weren't listening to the outside, noise. You made your choice for what you wanted to feed your child. But our babies have these built-in hunger and fullness cues that's how you feed them. They cry, they're hungry, you feed them, they push the bottle away, and they've had enough. And maybe you're familiar with what hunger feels like in your body. Maybe you're not. But if you are familiar with what hunger feels like, a lot of times we push that signal away just because we're trying to focus on the calories or the points or the macros. But in the grand scheme of things, becoming aware of your hunger and your fullness and eating according to your body's cues and its needs, that is what hunger and fullness eating is like. But when does that turn into another diet? Well, like I said, you can make anything you want to into a legalistic list of laws, including your workouts, including your relationships, including eating within hunger and fullness, or even your relationship with the Lord. You can check off all the boxes and make this religiously legalistic. Pray today, check. Read the Bible today, check. And that is not the way that we're created. Where our eating is concerned, though, the diet mentality is that of black and white thinking, all or nothing thinking, being a perfectionist with your eating, those rigid food rules, thinking that you have to apply those things to what and how you're eating. And here are some thoughts that may come up for you that will clue you in onto whether you're eating in true hungerfulness, or if you've turned hungerfulness into another diet. So these things are what you need to listen for or pay attention to, these things and some things similar, to see if you have turned your hunger and fullness eating into just another diet. So maybe you think, well, I was bad yesterday because I ate a cupcake when I wasn't hungry. Or maybe you thought, well, I'm so disgusted with myself. I knew I had already eaten half of what was on my plate, and I was already feeling, I was stuck. I was full and satisfied, not stuffed, but you were just full and satisfied, but you just kept eating anyway. Or you would think, well, I'd be okay if I only ate when I was hungry and always stopped when I was full. Do these sound familiar to you? And I want us to look a little bit closer into those statements. So when you say, I was so bad yesterday, I ate a cupcake when I wasn't hungry, I'm going to start by saying that food freedom is taking the morality out of food. If you notice that you're putting good and bad labels on yourself for what you're eating, then you could be operating from hunger, fullness, diet mentality. I mean, you're a good person, no matter what you eat. Realize that there are going to be occasions when you will have something when you're not hungry. It's the motive behind why you're eating it. Now, I'm not saying having a piece of birthday cake at your daughter's party when you're not hungry is going to completely break you. But having 3 pieces of birthday cake and then finishing off the leftovers as you're cleaning up, that might need some attention. Or if you're so tired, you're like, I've had this party, all these kids been driving me crazy, running around like, you know, like they're in the circus. And you're like, oh, I just need to rest and relax. You're like, oh, there's some cake in there. I need to wind down with some cake and some ice cream. Then that's probably something you want to address. And there's also going to be other times when you may need to eat when you're not hungry. I know, like my husband, he works on a shift, and so they have shift workers, and we have nurses, and we have doctors, and we have, I mean, you may even have um a specific lunch time that you have to eat, or break time that you have to eat. And then you know that there's going to be several hours before you can eat again. Well, then it's okay. Eat. Eat. It all goes back to the why. So what about, I'm so disgusted with myself. I knew I'd already eaten half of what was on my plate, and I was satisfied, but then I just ate the rest of it. Well, girl, let me just tell you, we've all eaten past full. That does not call for you to put a label on yourself as being a disgusting person. It's something to be aware of and something that you might want to take a look at, but it just serves as data. If you notice you do this often, then ask yourself, why is that? Are you buying into excuses that your brain's offering you? Or is it something else altogether? But rather than beating yourself up, journal about it. Journal about what you're thinking, what you're feeling at that time. It does take some intentionality. But when you get to the root and you address the root, the fruit is going to take care of itself. What about that thought that I'd be okay if I only ate when I was hungry and always stopped when I was full? Well, those words like only, okay, only and always, and those kind of words, they fall under that all or nothing, black and white thinking. And yet there's another label that you're putting on yourself about being okay. I would be okay. By saying this, you're inadvertently saying that you're not okay, but you are okay. Because this is just one aspect of your food freedom journey. And I'm going to finish up with just a few tips that if you find you've turned hunger and fullness into another diet, I want you to start to notice when you apply rigid thoughts and beliefs to your hunger and your fullness. And realize that is diet mentality that's coming in. You might want to take some time off from focusing on that hunger and fullness aspect and start to focus on maybe your mindset, your emotions, like relying on God to direct you. Focus on those aspects of your journey. Extend grace to yourself, because diet mentality, girl, it can be so ingrained in you. It was in me, and it was like on autopilot. And it's going to take some time for that to shift. It's not going to be an overnight thing. But always remember, it's progress over perfection. And so if you find yourself turning to, trying to eat within your hunger fullness and then beating yourself up and taking that diet mentality toward that hunger and fullness, just look at why. And like I said, it could be so you're on autopilot, but take that time and really address and journal and think about, like, why am I continuing to do this? Because there is freedom in eating within those boundaries. There is freedom. You can eat whatever you want. There is that freedom to do that. Nothing is off limits. But again, it goes back to why. Why are you eating? That's the bottom line. It's like, why? And maybe you're just doing it for enjoyment. Maybe you're out with some friends and you want a bite of dessert and you've had enough. Why is it that you want that bite of dessert? And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing wrong with you. But this is a journey, and it's one that you have to take one step at a time. And it doesn't have to be you go from this step to this step to this step. It's all together. But if you're really stuck in seeing hunger and fullness as another diet, then I want you to come and join in on my free Facebook group called Weight Loss Made Simple, Dropping the Physical and the Mental Weight. And just come over there, and there's a whole community of women that are on the same journey as you. And we'd love to have you come and be a part of that and walk through this with us together. And so that's all I have for this time, but I will see you next week. I'm going to put a link to the Facebook group down in the comments. And so I'd love for you to come over and join. Also, I have a membership, Uniquely You Life Coaching, where I'm working with women on a, just specifically with that group of women, and we really dial in on these things. If you need some more help other than just what you can get in the free Facebook group, I would love for you to join my community. And it's a group of women who are really dialing in and getting this new getting the transformation. Some of my clients have really transformed their lives, lost weight, and started to see themselves differently, see food differently, have their relationship with food completely changed, which has changed their lives. So I invite you. I'll also put a link to that down in the comments, and I would love to hear from you, how this spoke to you. If this resonates with you, just add your comments, and I will see you next time.